Virus Day, everybody. We all have to find our humor in all this. I get not 1 ounce of this is like fun and or funny for all of us, but we have got to start to move more and more into this place of empowerment. And how we do that is by continuing to dig in and find what is healing and nurturing to ourselves. Because, I have been watching, I'm an observer by nature and yet still very much an extrovert, but I am very much so watching the emotional triggers. That's why I wrote my book, my first one called The Emotion Behind Money, because I was noticing that things that were happening around money really had nothing to do with money itself. And part of my message, it's led me down this rabbit hole now 15 years later, after I really started to pay attention to the emotional side of money, that what motivates us in our world is not necessarily, that's the wrong word. It's not motivate. It's about what causes us to respond and to react in a certain way. And the way we're responding and reacting to the world has a lot to do with what is coming in and towards us on an emotional level. And I was reminded, helping out someone who's near and dear to my heart yesterday, and we were talking that we are, when we're triggered, we have to understand that that comes from our subconscious mind, which comes from all of our memory. It comes from everything back here and not from our present moment. So our present moment, living in the present moment, comes from our forefront of our mind. And it's a different part of our nervous system, and our memories come from the back. And so what I believe that we are all being called to do, including myself, many of you have heard my story. I've been divorced for a few years, have built my own business up over the last 25 years. And this divorce process really had triggered a lot of my healing, and in a beautiful, beautiful way, actually. So what's happening with the coronavirus right now with many of you out there is that for whatever reason, I was chose to go ahead of the curve and do my healing, which really started after my near-death experience, giving birth to child number 4. Almost died on the operating table, and it was a really profound experience. So not many of you have that experience. Many of you have trauma in your past or trauma in your childhoods, which leads to your response to the external world. And so when I was talking with this person who is near and dear to my heart yesterday, he had mentioned something that reminded me that 97% statistically of our response or reaction to the external world has to do with our subconscious mind. And if you don't believe me, go check the research. Dr. Bruce Lipton, he's a biologist. He has a couple books out there, Biology of Belief, and he talks about how scientifically they have proven this, that 97% of our response to the external world comes from our subconscious mind, not our conscious mind. Because we have to remember, we have 2 operating systems in our minds, or in our physiology. I guess our minds, yes. One is the conscious mind. If we consciously knew how to actually respond, we'd respond a little bit better sometimes. And then there's the subconscious mind. And they're both operating systems that we operate from, and we flip back and forth between the 2. And so one of the things that's really important to understand is that if 97% of the time we're actually responding from our subconscious mind, which is back here, which is our memory, which is everything that triggers the heck out of us, well, guess what? Then when we're watching people trigger about the stuff going on in society and wearing masks, and I had all kinds of people tell me how they wanted to give me their opinion on me being out on the beach with my kids the other day. And I'm like going, you know what? You're triggered. I'm not triggered. You're triggered. And I've noticed that let's hold safe space for other people's triggers right now. And if you're triggered, I've included a link below to help you, because these traumas that we had in our childhood, these traumas that we've had in our experiential past, and this is our past, it's all stuck in our brain back here in our amygdala, that if we are going to heal from our past, we have got to permanently shift the physiological response, because it's literally a chemical thing that happens in our bodies. And this is the piece and the nugget and the beauty that I want you to grab today. So whether it's you that's triggered or whether you're watching other people be triggered, share the link that I've put below, because one of my teachers, Rita Hickman, has really figured out in her resources and pulling from her how to physiologically get that to stop happening. I've gone to tons of therapists, and I shouldn't say that. I have not gone to tons of. I've had therapists talk to therapists. I have talked to energy healers, and it's a combination of the two, which I have found that really can permanently heal your triggers, your emotional triggers. And this has to do with your money. This has to do with your health. This has to do with your relationships. It's underlying all aspects of your life if you're triggering. And so let Rita, one of the things, and I'll demonstrate one of them because it's been super profound for me, the shift that I have had. So this opportunity with the global health crisis going on right now is triggering people. The other day my kids triggered me, and it had nothing, zero, 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 zero to do with my children at that moment in time. Yeah, they were acting up, but they were just the conduit and the gift to bring up something that I needed to heal. And this havening, which Rita has taught me, is just cross your arms, because you want to get both the right and the left side of your brain triggered, and you want to align with your heart meridian. And so all you do is you cross your arms, and this gets your right and your left brain aligned, and go down your arms, at least to your elbows. I tend to like to go all the way down. I don't know why, because I'm an overachiever, I suppose. But what you want to do is you want to do this 20 times, because what it's doing, it's actually physiologically totally changing. Like, I'm doing this right now, and I can feel the tingling in my system. And it's because I've now trained my physiological system to actually shift this emotional trigger that was planted in me. And many of you know my story, that this trigger was planted in me when I was sexually molested by a Catholic priest when I was about 5 years old. And I couldn't change that experience. It happened. But it was the basis for every emotional reaction and every individual that I have called into my life to help me heal that trauma. So that's my trauma. The question is what's your trauma? Many of us have one, and it's in our operating system here in the back of our amygdalas in our brains that actually then create how we interface with the world and what we've attracted to ourselves from this point forward. We have to remember, we are the creators of our lives. And if you would desire to create something new, you have to physiologically change the way your brain and your subconscious mind actually responds to the world. And the way that you do it, there are lots and lots of tools. And I can tell you that this havening, that helps to align with your heart meridian, and it also gets your right and left brain cross-pollinating again. And I know it's so much more detailed than that, but when you're trying to heal your emotions behind your money, if you're trying to heal your emotions around relationships, if you're trying to heal your emotions around the work and your kids and the other things in your life, you have to change your subconscious mind. There is no other way around it, or you're going to continue to keep that suffering cycle going round and round and round. And you know what? We're tired of these suffering cycles. It's time for us to step out of fear and step into love. And it really starts with a place of self-love and self-care. So I hope that was a helpful tip for you today. Please use it and let me know. Come to juliemurphy.com, because I am going to continue to provide resources like Rita in my toolbox there, as well as resources and coursework that I'm going to be helping you guys with along the way. So come to juliemurphy.com, sign up, because then I can actually alert you when these things are all coming out, because it's time for us all to heal. It's time for us, all of us, to move out of fear, remove out of emotional triggers, and stop responding from a subconscious mind that is not creating the results that you desire in your life. Well, I love you all, and I hope you have a great day, because I know I'm going to choose to create and have a great day, and I would love for you to join me in that. Take care. Bye.